All right, so right up here we have the Mars Explorer team, but next up, could I get the IPS International Print Station on deck? And that being said, can we give it up for the Mars Endeavor team? Round of applause.
Thank you. So we made a video game, as you can see by the Lava 2 selection of what challenge we did. Because of that, I'm going to try to power through the slides and get to the demo pretty much as quickly as possible. So you can see the people who made it here. You can see a loading screen briefly. We made a game where you can control about 10 astronauts and you're colonizing and building things inside of the lava tubes, just kind of intending to inspire and teach people about the lava tube systems. So these are roughly the roles in our enormous team. You can see that we're all over the map, pretty much all of us, a lot of coding and design from everyone, and great research. We have a lot of features sort of planned, because obviously in 2 days you can't get through very much. And we really are interested in building into this some kind of an achievement system so that people can be motivated to learn really interesting things and try to go different directions with exploring lava tubes. So we put these in here mostly because we wanted to show that we did try to achieve the criteria that were laid out, having a high impact, really trying to do something creative. It is fairly complex. A lot of us collaborated, etc. Anyway, I'm going to pass it off for the demo because that's the interesting part, not the slide.
Awesome, thank you. I just wanted to point out that these achievements, graphics, and the background were done by Angelina, and Brooke also provided some art for the game as well, and they did a great job. So here we are at the title of the game, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Let's end up on the planet. And we have our little settlement, and we're trying to mine resources, build things, and protect ourselves from hazards like incoming rocks from space and dust storms and all that sort of stuff. And we've implemented kind of RTS style system. You have to identify these randomly generated entrances to these tubes. And as you send your kind of mining bots in, you can see they switch between their different camera perspectives. And once they're in there, you can click on, and the picture-in-picture mode switches. So in the top corner, that's the main world where you can keep an eye on what's going on the surface, whether it's safe to go back up and that sort of stuff. And while you're down here, you can go around hunting for all sorts of resources. So I'm going to pass it off to John, who works primarily on the underground system.
Thanks, Rich. Okay, so basically, all you have to do is you just click on your miner dude, and then you attempt to navigate our terrible system. Okay, so you start to go down the lava tube, and then, hey, look, that looks like an interesting rock. So when you get pretty close, you want to try to mine that mineral. You aim it up with a laser, and if you look at the top of the screen, you can see that we have a bunch of resources. The first one is going to be oxygen. Our astronauts are using them over time, so the units go down. They release CO2 and then go up. I'll let Mike explain this a little more. But right now we're mining some ore, so you see the ore count up as we continue to mine this. So you'll be able to use this to build stuff above on the land.
Would you like to say a little bit about the resource system that you put together?
So the main thing you see for resources here is just the counts up at the top. But we built a system that can model pretty much any kind of resource and any sort of thing that changes one resource to another or consumes some or generates some. So most of the time we spent on just building the infrastructure for that. But we chose to make these four: oxygen, CO2 to represent life support or the astronauts breathing. But we've got ore up there. Ultimately, you would need to refine ore into metals, silicates, all kinds of stuff. So then I'll pass this off to.
Yeah, I want to say one more thing. I think you may have. There we go. I may have zoned out. Did you mention the fact that you're randomly seeding all the resources, and the tunnel systems are also randomly selected and all that sort of stuff? So it's different every time. That's it, I guess.
So integrated with what?
So every province has a science, technology, engineering, mathematics curriculum. You and I all, they're set, preset educational objectives. The reason why, I know that video games are supposed to be about fun, but where I see a potential beta testing bed for you guys is there are Challenger Learning Centers, there's 50 of them around the world, and they do simulated Mars missions. We actually have one here in Toronto, the Ontario Science Center. So if you can somehow integrate what you guys are doing with, I think it's like the grade 5s, it's like a Earth and Space Sciences curriculum, you could probably get your product tested at Science Center. We get about 9,000 students coming through doing missions every year. And then you can beta test it. I actually know the person who runs it. And I've actually got a meeting in DC with the guy who's in charge of all the Challenger Learning Centers around the world. Then that, I think, is great, useful feedback for you guys in developing your commercial product, which would be the video game aimed at the general public.
Can we talk after this?
Oh yeah, sure.
Well, I'm curious how you would integrate sort of Mars actual live data sets into the game to bring a little bit more of the real world into the mix.
Unless you want to talk about generating the surface. So as you saw, we had like a surface detailed terrain map. You can read really easily different satellite maps of what the terrain of Mars looks like. And actually, a friend of mine did a great job of putting a Minecraft map together based on this, so it's really usable. So we could probably be bringing those in, building maps that actually represent Mars, and then different conditions depending on whether or not you're like in polar Mars or equatorial Mars, whereabouts you're going to be.
Just to touch upon what Julie said, what was your first intention? Was it a video game or was it an educational tool?
I think we all kind of want to make a video game, but definitely an educational tool. Me and John have made, and Catherine, who presented earlier, we made an educational game in the past, and that's kind of the same idea we had going forward. Right? Yeah, absolutely.
So over the last few months, I've actually gotten really interested in minerals. I've been saving a ton of pictures from my hard drive just on like Reddit, following minerals. It's sort of good. So, like, when you deal with a video game, always the first thing should be the fun. You know, like if it's going to be educational, hey, that's great, but nobody would play it, right? So, I really wanted it to be fun. I feel like a huge opportunity for us to expand the mineral system. Like, I don't really know what's on Mars, but I'm sure a lot of people do. We can figure it out and mine for different things and use it to build things, right? So that's what I feel like an opportunity is.
That's great. I really like it. I mean, there's plenty of analogies in Hawaii. You can certainly get data from real life.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Maybe we'll explore some.
Yeah.